We salute the Astros for their service they do to the city by going on hot streaks and winning baseball games, taking care of business on the West Coast like they did this weekend against the Athletics, taking 2 out of 3 from them. Plus, of course, the first third of the season is just about to be concluded, so we'll recap the season and all to this point. All that and so much more will be discussed in today's video, so let's get to it. Almost anyway. There's still one more game to play, but to mark 54 games now in the books. But the Astros so far are 24-29, which will slot them at third place in the American League West, just half a game behind the Texas Rangers and 3.5 games behind the division-leading Seattle Mariners, who the Astros will be playing next. But let's go ahead and first let's recap the series against the A's in Oakland first, and then we'll dive into how the Astros are looking at this point in the season. Before we do that, though, let's go ahead and dive into a quick injury update, and unfortunately, it is not a good one on Jose Urquidy, as he had left Friday night's minor league rehab game with AAA Sugarland due to what appears to be right forearm discomfort. He did allow 1 run on 4 hits with 3 Ks in a little over 3 innings, and I believe he threw 50-something pitches when he was supposed to throw 70 or so. Although the Astros, when I am recording this video, have not made anything official yet in terms of how much more time that he's going to miss. He could be out for at least the first half, if not all of the month of June, so that's if I'm being honest, dude, that's actually a pretty big blow because, I mean, again, the Astros have been really been fiddled with pitching injuries to start the season. It's kind of the reason why that they're in this bad start, and it could end up proving costly for them. Obviously, offensively, it's kind of on the Astros to try to carry some of the workload, but they really have not. So, but yeah, anyway, let's recap this series. So, starting here in this first game, Justin Verlander set the tone early in this series, as he jumps alone into the top 10, getting 9 strikeouts on the night, passing Greg Maddux on the all-time strikeout list. And despite Ross Stripling, the A's pitcher, retiring the first 9 men he faced, he was actually perfect the first time through the order. But the Astros would then tag him for 6 runs in the 4th inning, capped off by a 3-run home run by Jake Myers. That was fair by maybe a foot. At first I thought it was foul, but to my surprise, it was not. The A's would start chipping away at that lead. They did threaten late in the game against the Astros bullpen, but ultimately the closest they got was within 3, and the Astros would go on to win this game 6-3. Going into game 2, the A's would actually bounce back, and clearly again, our game plan of playing down to the level of our competition is just coming back to bite us because, I mean, again, the Oakland A's, obviously, I mean, they're playing better baseball. They're looking to be pretty good. They've been playing some teams very tough. And either way, the Astros have had very good success against the A's the past 2 years, and they need to be at least trying to make an effort to pull out a sweep against them, and they really kind of fell asleep in this game, if I'm being honest. Spencer Arrighetti did pitch decent in this game, but he gave up 2 runs in the first inning, which is a nagging issue that the Astros have really yet to solve this season, and that would end up being the difference maker in this game as they went on to win 3-1. It was a rather close game, but the Astros offense was relatively silent by J.P. Sears, and also by the A's closer, Bryce Miller. I don't know his name, but he is just nasty. Like, he was nasty in this game. He looked like it. I mean, he was just hitting 100-mile-an-hour plus fastballs left and right, and the Astros just could not catch up with him on that. It is what it is, but the Astros would end up bouncing back in this rubber match as they scored all 5 of their runs in the 4th inning once again, which this is actually now the 4th straight game that the Astros score all of their runs in just 1 inning, but are silent the other 8. So, I mean, and again, I'll address this later on in the season recap portion of this video, but that's something again that needs to change because this scoring barrage was capped off by a home run by Kyle Tucker, his 18th on the season, which leads the league entering play tonight ahead of Gunnar Henderson of the Baltimore Orioles and Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees, who have 17 apiece, tied for second. Ronel Blanco, who was reinstated from his 10-game suspension, did not miss a beat prior to today's game. He ended up getting suspended for violating the probations on foreign substances. For those of you guys who aren't really in the loop, I guess, which resulted in his ejection prior to the 4th inning of the Astros game this past Monday. So 2 weeks ago is when you guys are probably seeing this video. against the A's that I was at. So, but he did not miss a beat in this game as he went 7 strong innings and improved to 5-0 on the season. So, I mean, he is looking very good. Like, he's one of our most consistent starters who was just at what who was obviously he looked consistent in the springtime, and he has been one of our best starters so far in the season and has really been carrying the load and provided us with a sense of optimism, especially at the start of the season when our pitchers were very, very unhealthy. But yeah, overall, this was a very good game. But and what's actually kind of crazy is that the 5 runs that the Astros would score in this game, one of which did come in the 4th inning. But the A's shortstop ended up committing a costly error in that inning that the Astros took advantage of by scoring those 4 runs. Altuve ended up getting a 2-run single to bat home men on first and on second and third after that error. And then of course Kyle Tucker later on had hit that home run the next batter after that to make it 5-0 Astros at that point. And those 4 runs that they did score would end up being the difference maker because although the A's did tag Ronel Blanco and Josh Hader, who had saved this game with home runs, Hader's home run that he had given up would give the A's 2 runs to the Astros 5. But yeah, if you were to subtract those 5 runs that the Astros had scored in that game, if the Astros were to some reason lose that game, it would have come on that home run that the A's had hit in the bottom half of the 9th inning. And I mean, and again, if the A's shortstop had not made that error, they would have actually won that game. So, you know, it's kind of crazy to look back on the fact to see that, again, an error does go a long way. Yeah, the Astros had scored 5 of their runs in that 4th inning, 4 of which did come on that error. So, you know, again, the home run in the 6th for the A's had tied the game up. But again, they'd hit another home run in the bottom half of the 9th inning that if the Astros had not scored those 4 runs on that error, they would have lost this game. So, I mean, that's nice that the Astros are taking advantage of extra outs that are given to them because, you know, it's not something you're going to get every day. But at the same time, like, what in the world? Hader does need to be a bit more consistent in the sense that he needs to be not giving up too many home runs because that home run that he gave up would have won the A's the game had it not been for that error. But I guess we'll never know. Anyway, overall, this was a good series, but before I let you guys off the hook here, I would first like to talk about the first third of the season to this point for the Astros. So, the Astros had gone 10-19 through March and April, so, you know, the first full month-ish of the season, and they've gone 14-10 since then, which is not a record that I'm terribly happy with, but at the same time, I'm not concerned about it either. Like, I mean, having a winning record in that span is nice. And obviously, there's still, you know, 5 games under 500 as we enter play tonight. And it is a tough series against the Mariners that they've got on their hands. But at the same time, I mean, I still think that the Astros are in a fairly decent spot. Their starting rotation is getting healthy. The lone exception, unfortunately, I again should have mentioned this earlier, but Javier is being listed by the Astros as day-to-day because, well, unfortunately, he did not throw his scheduled bullpen yesterday due to what the Astros are currently describing as left forearm soreness, if I'm not mistaken. If I get I'll get the picture and share it on screen for you guys right here. But in addition to all of that, the Astros are getting some guys back. Jose Abreu, who was in the Astros spring training complex for most of the month, he did go on a minor league rehab assignment with AAA. He did play 2 games out in AAA, but while he did not get a hit, Dana Brown did specifically quote that it's not about the hits, it's more about him getting quality at-bats. And by the looks of it, it seems like he did do exactly that, no matter how many hits he did get. But personally, I really hope that he does prove me wrong. He is actually going to be activated prior to Monday night's game in Seattle. And some sources are saying that Joey Loperfido, the Astros' young prospect, is likely going to get sent down to clear a spot for Jose Abreu on the 26-man roster. Now, personally, I think it's just total bullshit that the Astros are choosing him because he has been very good. Now, to our credit, he's not the best per se. Like, he has been struggling a bit. He did get his major league firsts out of the way. He got his first hit. He got his first RBI. He got his first home run. So, I mean, again, while I do think it's just kind of annoying that he's going to have to get sent down, I think it's just going to be for the best for him to just stay down in AAA until the time being. But I mean, John Singleton is just a far better first baseman. I kind of would really think that Jose Abreu would rather just stay down there and actually get a hit or two or something like that for the Space Cowboys. But Dana Brown did state that it's not about getting the hits, it's about getting quality ABs. And if you get hits out of that, great. But again, the main reason why Jose Abreu did get sent down was just because he seemed like he's lost his timing. So, I mean, again, it could just be for the best. But a guy that could be staying in the starting rotation again would be Spencer Arrighetti at least for the foreseeable future, because Rosie Urquidy's injury might be more severe than we had initially thought. So yeah, it's looking okay for the Astros. Again, they still need to try to pick it up. They still need to try to continue to string together series victories, because unfortunately, I think I could try to look, but unfortunately, even if they go perfect 4-0 on this road trip, they're still going to be under 500 starting the month of June. So, and they have a fairly easy stretch. The Mariners, it's going to be a tough game, but hopefully after that, it's going to be a relatively easy stretch. We've got the Twins coming to town this weekend, and then the Cardinals also in town the following week. So, hopefully it could be a rather easy stretch of games for the Astros to win. But so far, it's looking pretty decent for the team overall. Now to shine some spotlights on some individual players, starting with Kyle Tucker. He is playing on a whole different level right now. He has 18 home runs, which again leads the league. And some mocks out there are having Kyle Tucker as like one of their top 3 candidates to win AL MVP this season, which would be a very huge honor for the Astros. They have not had an MVP since Jose Altuve in 2017. Alex Bregman came the next closest at an MVP award in 2019, but we had actually finished second in AL MVP voting behind who else? Mike Trout. So, but so far, there's a couple of good guys that are really kind of killing it. Yordan Alvarez seems like he's okay. Personally, I think he needs to be trying to start picking it up a little bit as well, because there's a good reason for that. Alex Bregman is just okay. He's been hot as of late, but honestly, if I'm being honest, he's not really that, MVP level player that we saw a couple of years ago. Could he pick it up at some point this season? Yes. But at the same time, this is a contract year for Alex Bregman, and the time is really ticking for us to make the decision if we want to extend him or not. Although personally, at this point, I would personally want to just pump that extra money towards Kyle Tucker instead. We have a full season to determine that if we want to do it or not. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys lasted till the end of this point, and leave a comment down below if you get on how you guys thought this series could have gone, how it did go, all that jazz. So, and definitely leave a like on these videos, guys, because leaving likes helps me out a ton. It makes sure that these videos get shown to more people. Tough series against the Mariners coming up. And it's time for the Astros to get their act together. So leave a like if you guys enjoyed, like I said, and I'll see you guys in the next one.